House of X, Powers of 10, Chapter 1. Professor Xavier greets the X-Men who are being reborn on the living island of Krakoa after having died on a mission. Over the past 5 months, the X-Men have been planting a variety of Krakoan flowers at key locations across the globe, on the moon, and on Mars. This specific flower creates gateways to Krakoa from the area at which they are planted. Other Krakoan flowers are being used to create designer drugs, one to extend human life, another to prevent disease of the mind, and a third which acts as the most effective antibiotic the world has ever seen. And the mutant citizens of Krakoa intend to use these miracle drugs as leverage, trade deals with other world leaders in exchange for sovereignty. Charles Xavier telepathically announced this to the leaders of the world, and now their ambassadors are gathering to meet with Charles Xavier to discuss the matter, but they are welcomed instead by Magneto, which is crazy because he has historically been known as villain, and these world leaders are like, is he working with Xavier now? What the hell's going on? Magneto tells them about the nation of Krakoa, about the language they've invented, about the culture they are cultivating, and the ambassadors are not happy about it. The ambassador of China is like, these gateways, first of all, create an unfair advantage in war. Being able to move armies quickly without being seen from one place to another is unfair. And Magneto's like, mutants have never started a war. We've never conquered a people, or we never enslaved anybody. That's your guys' thing. And then the ambassador says, okay, well, when are we going to get to see the main island? And Magneto's like, no, humans are not welcome there. He's like, we are being nice by claiming only this small island and gifting you the rest of the entire planet, even though we all know that mutants are the true inheritors of Earth. Cut to Jean Grey bringing a new mutant kid to Krakoa for the first time. We're shown that Cypher and Sage are monitoring every gateway to Krakoa, and Cypher's using his power to communicate with the living island. And everyone just looks and feels so hopeful. All the mutants, they have this new paradise and are working to build this sovereign nation where they can't be fucked with by humans anymore. Cut to the Orcus Forge, where Dr. Gregor is showing Karima around the station and explains that they have AI, which predicted the exact plans they know Professor Xavier now has in motion, and explains their plans for the Mother Mold, which is a super powerful, self-aware, adaptive version of a Sentinel, which they have charging with solar panels right beside the sun. Dr. Gregor is anti-mutant because she's pro-Homo sapien, and she predicts that regular humans have only 20 years left before being completely replaced by mutants, and Karima is an Omega Prime Sentinel, so. Cut now to Damage Control, where Mystique, Toad, and Sabretooth are downloading some information that's being stored here, and what was intended to be a nice quiet mission has become a mess. Toad notes that Sabretooth left a mess of bodies behind. Mystique blasts exit through the side of the building, and they're met outside by the Fantastic Four. Mystique and Toad exit through the gateway, but Sabretooth is busy fighting the Thing and gets left behind. The gate closes, and Sue Storm locks Sabretooth up in a force field. Then from inside the gate, out walks Cyclops. He has a friendly exchange with the Fantastic Four, and he asks them for Sabretooth. Reed Richards is stunned. He's like, Sabretooth just broke a ton of laws, likely killed people. You think we're going to release him to you? And Scott says, I'm afraid you're going to have to. We're offering all mutants amnesty on Krakoa. And Reed Richards basically threatens to fight him over it. And to that, Scott puts his hands up and says, okay, we'll deal with this later, some other way. Susan Storm is like, what the fuck do you mutants think you're all doing? And Scott's like, I believe in Xavier's plan. Say hi to your mutant son for me, and tell him that he's welcome on Krakoa anytime. Now, back to the ambassadors in the habitat. Magneto asks, okay, so what have we learned? And one of the ambassadors starts to answer, and Magneto cuts him off, saying, I wasn't talking to you. Turns out that one of the Stepford Cuckoos has been reading their minds this entire time, and she tells Magneto, this guy's going to agree to our terms and sign on, this one isn't, this one doesn't care, he's actually just here to watch this guy, who is surprisingly keeping a secret from me, which I cannot get to. But he is carrying weapons on him. So Magneto strips him of all of his metal weapons and leaves them with this speech. He says, go back and tell your masters what you learned here today. This is not a negotiation, nor is it a threat. It's a promise. You see, I know how you humans love your symbolism and your religion, but you have new gods now. Thank you for watching my video, and if you want to support me in making more videos, you can join my Patreon like these people whose names are scrolling above me did.